Good morning, everyone. So this is day one of I think what I'm calling compassionate response to the coronavirus. So the idea that I came up with is that well, actually, it's a response to what's happening in the world. So, you know, I just heard the news yesterday that Boris Johnson in the UK is, asking people to not kind of meet in gatherings, and just the thought of what that means really for people. I mean, it's difficult enough to, as a Buddhist, to kind of meditate and be on your own, So, but people without any experience of that, of having to spend a lot of time in solitude, well, it's going to be pretty difficult. So this channel is to help people with that, with some things like bodywork and meditation, and just kind of ideas really to help people cope. So this morning we're going to do day one. So I'm going to do one of these every day at least. So this morning we're going to do the loving kindness meditation from Buddhism. It's called the Metta Bhavana. So Metta means universal loving kindness. It's like the kindness that we would feel towards all beings if we sort of really saw them as beings, saw them for what they were, rather than seeing them as something else, like objects or in our way or whatever, that sort of thing. So it's about developing kindness, towards ourselves and towards other people. When we meditate, we're always doing this with a body. We always have a body with us. So if we sit down to meditate, we face what our body's like. So if we probably feel a bit stodgy in our body a lot of the time. So when we sit down to meditate, we fall asleep, or we just feel our energy's not supportive to us. So it's as important in life in general, but in meditation in particular, to work with your body before you do anything. Like sit in meditation. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of body work to start with, and this comes from the Japanese tradition, and it's called Doin, D-O-I-N, and it's just a form of self-massage, to help stimulate the body. And then we'll do something to smooth our energy out, and then we'll do some meditation. So so what I want you to do is to you'll need to decide what you're going to sit on to meditate, and you can sit on a chair. I'm sitting on cushions at the moment, meditation cushions. Just some way in which you're going to be comfortable. It's probably not a good idea to sit in a soft sofa, because you'll just sink into it. So what we're looking for is our body to just support us, to just be able to just sit there, and we don't have to worry about it. We just kind of forget about our body. It'll support us rather than us worrying about supporting it. Yeah. So just decide what you're going to sit on. Just give you a little bit of time to do that. Yeah. So meditation, in a way, the simplest way of seeing it is that we're kind of stopping our normal activities, and then we're kind of coming to a quiet place where we're hopefully not going to get disturbed. And then it gives us a chance to look at what's going on. Well, two things. What's going on for us, so we check in with how we are, how we feel, what's happening with our body, whether we feel, whether our body's tense or relaxed, So if it's tense, we can work on relaxing it, and if we're not aware of how we're feeling, we're just overriding it all the time, and it'll get us at some point. So we need to be aware of how we're feeling, checking in with ourselves regularly. How am I? What's going on? And then the other one is the responding. So we're always responding to the world. We're doing things. We're having emotions. We're thinking. We're paying attention in different sorts of ways. And we're having views about things, so all these have an effect, and what we're looking for is to turn them all from being, sources of suffering to being sources of happiness. So when we do the loving kindness meditation, this is what we're doing. You know, we're turning our emotions towards ourselves and towards others, you know, into being more productive happiness. You know, so if we care about ourselves, we're much more likely to have a better life, that where we look after ourselves, and you know, we don't go making so many mistakes. You know, if we're indifferent, we just go crashing around the world and kind of making a mess for ourselves and others. So yeah, so it's really important that we stop, and then we look at, you know, what's going on, what we're doing, but also how we are, and then work on that in meditation. That's what meditation is. It's just systematically bringing attention to ourselves and, you know, the different aspects of our experience. Okay, so that's good. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to do a bit of body work now. So if you all stand up, and I'm just going to move the camera so I can be seen better. Okay, so I want you to just begin by just drumming with your fingers on your head. And what we're trying to do here is to bring awareness to our body. So just take your time and just be aware of what it feels like to have clothes on, what it feels like to have the air, the moisture touching your skin, and how it feels to be standing on the ground. You know, what sensations are there as you stand on the ground, and checking in with how you feel at the moment, you know, what's going on emotionally. So it takes time often to kind of get into our body. You know, our mind works really quickly, and our body often takes its time, you know, for things to happen. So just be patient. Take a few deeper breaths. And then just rub your hands together, backs of your hands, up your arms. Just brushing down your body. Just notice how it makes a difference to your mind when you do this. Start to kind of come down come down to earth a little bit. So the body is so important, really, for working on our mental states. We probably don't think so, but yeah, it is. And then just what you want you to do is just put your forehead in your palms of your hands, and just to curve your neck over, and just having a sense of turning away from the world and towards yourself. So we don't always need to be looking out there into the world, you know. Sometimes we need to just look inwards and look to ourselves and look to replenishing ourselves. Just enjoying the feeling of your breathing on your wrists, and the feeling of cradling your forehead in your hands, and just giving your head to your hands to be held. Staying aware of your rest of your body, you know, your feet touching the ground, the environment around you. In a way, it's just a bit like the fetal position, you know, we're curling up to protect our precious kind of inner organs and hearts and emotions. Take a few deeper breaths. Okay, and then just give your face a bit of a wash with your hands. my hands together again. Feel better already. Okay, next, so just put your elbow in the palm of your hand and do this sort of thing. So what we want to do is give our body what it wants, not what our mind is embarrassed to do or not do. So your body probably wants quite a vigorous bit of massage here in order to release and, you know, wake up the top part of your shoulder. Try to get onto your spine. That's it. And then the other side. No sort of, no pain, no gain. And then down the outside of your arm and onto your hand, back of your hand, and make it a little bit painful. And then clapping. Think of all the people around the world who are doing this. Give them a round of applause. And then up the inside of your arm. Again, round again. And then the other side. Pump clapping. And then on your chest, and down the sides of your body. Just do little circles on your stomach, just to quieten your energy down a little bit, and just listening to the sound of your hands rubbing against your clothing, just being aware of the world outside and all the input coming in through your senses, sights, sounds, tastes, everything. And just imagine that all just is just coming in and it's impacting on the organ, the eye or the ear, and it's just turning into electricity, and it's just moving down the nerves of your body into your brain, and that is just a completely natural process that you just let happen. So we're not trying to shut the world out when we meditate, we're trying to make choices about what we do with that input. But we just want to receive everything into a soft awareness. And then just drumming lightly on your kidneys. And then more heavily on your buttocks, just waking your buttocks up the backs of your legs. And then going down your legs and try to get your feet. So this is going to be so important when people are staying in for long periods, to keep the bodies, like, you know, alive and working, you know. Okay, so that's the kind of stimulating part of the body work. So now we're going to do something a bit more smoothing to our energy. So just put your hands just on your belly, just below your navel. And just let your breathing calm down. And then as you notice your breathing out, just bend your knees. And then as you breathe in, straighten your knees. So breathing, just bend your knees on the out breath, straighten them on the in-breath. Don't worry too much about getting it right, it's just roughly this. Notice if you're not moving, maybe you're a bit stuck in your head here. We need to be in our body, so because we're working on our body, so going down on the out breath and coming up on the in breath. And now just put your hands in front of your hips, and then on the in breath just bringing them up to your chin and then turning and going down and then to your hips again, and then on the in breath bringing them up and then taking them down again and bringing them up, and then once more down, and then this time just bringing them up and just taking them past your chin and opening your chest out and going down the sides again, just a big circle. Imagine a ball of energy coming up the middle of your body, and then it's expanding outwards and coming down again. So this is something from Qigong. So again, this is like, we need to have a Qi, which is like the energy, that feeling of energy in our body. You know, if we do this, we can get a sense of like that there is energy there in our body. Last time. I'm just standing for a little bit and just being aware of how you feel now. So you probably feel a bit more like sitting down and meditating. So I'm just going to move this. So just find your seat. Okay, so we're going to do the Metta Bhavana meditation, and but first of all I'm just going to lead us in a little bit of a body awareness, so that you know we're doing the right thing with our body. So what we want to happen is that we want our body to just be able to just sit there wherever we are, and we don't have to think about it, and it just supports us. So just being aware in this new position of the world around you, and just be aware that you've had you exist in time and exist in space. So having a sense of all the kind of moments of time that you've experienced and will experience. So this is about bringing awareness to our actual situation. So, you know, we exist in time, we have this life, with all sorts of experience in it, and we also exist in space. So we're on the earth, and we're at a particular place on the earth. So just kind of letting yourself gradually arrive into an awareness of where you are in time and space. And it's also the case that you have a body, so that body is a physical object, and so it's like it has a particular structure to it. So you know, you've got bones that support your weight, and you've got muscles that move you about, and you've got organs that keep you alive. And so just tuning into the structure of your actual body. Try to notice where the bones are, where the muscles are, where the organs are. And then aligning yourself with that, with the truth of that. So Can you let the weight of your body just go down through, just let your body just sit there, so it knows how to sit down, your body knows how to sit down, it doesn't need any help from your mind, and all you need to do is just like work on how balanced you are, you know, either way, so that, you know, the weight goes straight down into the ground or the chair, and just keep coming back to that in the meditation. You know, am I leaning over? So if you're leaning over a little bit, then you're going to have to be using effort and probably a bit of attention to hold yourself up. So it's really important to just let your body support you. So we're looking for our bodies to support our mind and our emotions in a way where they don't have to be worried about it, what it's doing. So if you notice that your mind is starting to worry about what your body's doing, just come back to letting your body sit there and just looking at keeping it balanced. So in the Metta meditation, the universal loving kindness, cultivation of universal loving kindness, what we're doing is we're looking at our emotions towards ourselves and towards other people and other beings. So we will have emotion towards ourselves and others all going on all the time. You know, it could be that we do feel kind of warm towards ourselves and you know, and enthusiastic about our lives, or it could be that we feel a bit indifferent, or it could be that we feel critical and hostile towards ourselves or others. And this is just this is just what happens, you know. This is just life, and we shouldn't give ourselves a hard time or make judgments about ourselves about that. Just to realise that it does have consequences, so for ourselves and for others. So, you know, if we're critical of ourselves too much, it's like we're probably not don't look after ourselves that well. So what we're trying to do is move from whatever emotion is there, indifference or critical hostility or whatever it is, towards, and just make it a bit warmer, make our response towards ourselves a bit warmer. So try to be aware of what your emotion is at the moment towards yourself. And emotion comes about through reasons, you know, through conditions. So, and often it comes about through our views about things. So, what is your view about yourself that's causing that emotion? So, if you feel a bit critical, is it that you are seeing yourself a little bit as an object or something? Maybe you haven't sort of completed the various tasks that you've set yourself, or that you feel like other people expect of you. So maybe you're seeing yourself a little bit narrowly in that way, you know, just as, you know, defined by whatever role you have, or your job, or identity that you have. And can you just shift that view of what you are to be more in line with the reality? So the reality is that you are a human being who is sensitive to their experience, who wants to be well, who wants to avoid suffering, and who has need for meaning and fulfillment in life. So the more that we can move our view of ourselves from being whatever it is that's not accurate, about ourselves, like that we're an object, to being accurate about ourselves, that we are a human being with all that means. Okay, so I'm just going to carry on here because the last Facebook Live cut out because the internet dropped. So we were just developing loving kindness towards ourselves. Having a sense of wishing ourselves well. May I be well, may I be happy, may I not suffer. So continuing to just allow your body to be the support for your mind and your emotions. So your mind and emotions don't need to be involved with your body, with holding your body up. Just reflecting that your body knows how to sit down, it can just sit there. And all you have to do is to just concentrate on whether you're balanced, so you're not leaning over to one side or the other. And then your mind and emotions can gain a sense of reassurance from the stability of your body, which then helps your concentration in the meditation. So sometimes when we want to develop loving kindness, it's like we just have to give it enough time. Give ourselves some time, put ourselves on the agenda, put our happiness on the agenda. So we need to know what that is for us, So maybe just looking back into the past and identifying a time when everything was just how you wanted it, what was that situation like? What was it? Were you with people? Were you on your own? Were you doing a particular activity? Just trying to fill in the details of what for you was a kind of peak experience in the past. And just bringing this to mind is some evidence that things can go well, do go well sometimes. I'm not comparing that with how things are right now. We're just having a sense that there is something that we aspire to. There is something that we value in life, things that we value in life, things that we appreciate. I'm just having a sense, a sort of gentle sense of like putting that on the agenda. Just letting it be there for us. That vision for ourselves. So much of emotion is about wanting. So just being clear what we want. And then just wishing for that to come about for ourselves. Just giving it some time and space. May I be well. If we like, we could imagine a beautiful, warm, red light in our heart area. It just represents our sense of care for ourselves. And now just bringing to mind somebody who we know, who's a friend. Maybe choosing somebody who's roughly the same age, just to keep it simple, and somebody we don't have kind of sexual attraction towards. Again, just to keep it simple. Or just a friend. And just seeing what our emotion is towards our friend. So sometimes, well, often our friends are pleasurable to us, and often they're useful to us. And sometimes, in a way, there can be a bit of a pleasurable object for us, you know. So just seeing what your emotion is towards your friend. Maybe there's a bit of attachment there. And that's because they are a pleasurable experience for you. So can you shift your view of your friend to be something that's a bit more coming from their perspective? You know, what's life like for them? have a fuller sense of how their experience changes over time. Sometimes they're doing well and sometimes they're suffering. And tuning into them as a human being. And wishing them well. Maybe even imagining standing behind them and kind of pushing them in the direction of happiness. This is what we would really want for them. Just trying to make it a bit kind of visible and visceral, that feeling. We really want it for them. It's not just an idea. And if other emotions are there, that are going in a different direction to that, not giving them too much attention, just being honest at what's happening. And just keep coming back to the aim of the meditation, which is to move our emotions more in the direction of kindness and care towards our friend. May they be well. And then finally just bringing to mind all the other people, all the other beings around the world. And trying our best to see those beings for what they actually are, which is that they are living beings who are sensitive, care about what their experience is, who don't want to suffer, who want meaning and fulfillment in life. So just trying to shift our view of those beings, all those beings in the world and the universe, to be a bit more in line with what is the case. Just allowing that to gently stimulate a sense of care for them. There might be many billions of them and we might not be able to affect them immediately. It's important to just have that response, that kind response, if we were to meet them. May they be well. So just keeping it as simple as possible, really. Maybe imagine standing behind all those beings and pushing them from behind towards happiness. So even though many of us might be in isolation physically, through the coronavirus doesn't mean that we can't be connected through our mind and emotions, particularly focusing on those who are most vulnerable in this situation, those with previous health conditions and the elderly. And just allowing our sense of awareness of them and care for them to inform our actions. While being careful about our own about transmitting the virus, the danger of that. Is there some way we can be helpful to people who are more vulnerable at the moment? So this could be a great opportunity to connect with other people around the world. And show our solidarity with them. Extending that to all beings everywhere in the universe. Just considering that none of them want to suffer. And just having the aim, may they be well, may they move towards happiness and fulfillment. Now just for a moment, just resting your attention on your breath, noticing the sensations of the breath as it comes and goes. And becoming aware of your environment, of the sights and sounds and the taste in your mouth, sensations in your body. And in your own time, just bringing this meditation to a close. So it's a good idea after meditating to not just rush into activity, but just to give yourself some space to absorb the experience, and then try to allow whatever you've developed in the meditation to inform your day, really. Kind of hold it lightly in your palms of your hands, just take it with you, if you can, into the world. Maybe well.